as I was sitting out here, one of my mutuals videos came down. And ironically, I don't remember how we became mutuals. Like, there's so many mutuals I have where we're following each other and we see each other's content, and I just, like, I fall in love with them, and hopefully they fall in love with me, and we comment. But one of my mutuals, Monique, TikTok came down. And I think fundamentally, this is why I live my life leading with empathy, because I know who I am. And a lot of you don't know who you are. You know the version of yourself that you have been presenting to the world repeatedly. You know the version of yourself you've told everybody, your family, your friends, your coworkers. And that version that you've told people you are is the most kind version. It is the version that doesn't gossip. It is the version that doesn't lie. It's the version that doesn't steal. It is the version that isn't jealous. It is the version that isn't hateful, right? The biggest lie we tell ourselves is the lie we tell ourselves about ourselves. And so when you have been telling a story about who you are without sitting in the reality of who you are, it is easy to come onto the internet. It is easy to go into the workplace. It is easy to engage with other human beings in the world and do that from a place of pure judgment. I say this all the time, and I hope people who follow me, especially for my work around empathy, I hope you get this. When you don't have empathy for yourself, it is almost impossible for you to truly have empathy for somebody else, because you have called yourself dumb, stupid, idiotic, right? The conversations you're having with yourself is so unkind, so not nice. You are not forgiving of your own mistakes. And maybe because your mom told you you should know better, or maybe your society said, there's no excuse for that. So because you've lived your life saying there's no excuse for this behavior that you have engaged in or engage in, when you see that behavior in other people, you are hard on them too, because fundamentally you're hard on yourself. And so she was saying in her video, she says, I know who I am. I don't lie about who I am. I don't lie about who I am. And I think sometimes when I come on this internet and I tell you stories, that doesn't always put me in the best light, right? It doesn't always make me seem like this wonderful, magnanimous person, because I can be that, but I can also be an asshole. Provoked and unprovoked. See, the story you've told yourself is you're only an asshole when you're provoked. But the truth is, sometimes you're an asshole unprovoked. You've told yourself the story, you're always kind. You only, go at people when they come at you. But sometimes you go at people even when they don't come at you. And she said, I know who I am. I take an honest look at myself every day. And I think when we take honest looks at ourselves every day and we go out into the world and we see people whose lives don't mirror perfection, we are reminded that our lives aren't perfect. And there are some things about ourselves that we like and some things we would like to change. There's some things about ourselves that we wish we could go back and erase. Some choices we made we wish we could take back. Some conversations we've had, we wish we didn't have. And I so appreciated that TikTok today, because I was just sitting here thinking, yeah, I know who I am. I know who I am. I am not, I don't fool myself about who I am. And I remember being in an argument with somebody I was in a relationship with, and I was pointing out to him who he was, and he looked at me and he said, you're no better than me. You didn't do something different than I didn't do. And when I tell you, it was like cold water being thrown on you. See, because although I was no different than him, the story I told myself was I did it for different reasons than he did it. So that means although I did it, it wasn't bad because my reasons were different than his. But the end result is the behavior was still the same for both of us. So why did I think I was better? Because the reasons I gave myself were different, right? Like if you steal because it is about surviving your life, taking care of your kids, you feel justified in that stealing, and people will justify you in that stealing. But if I stole just because shit, I wanted that bag. What? You mean you stole? You stole and for a bag? Our reasons are different, but our behavior was the same. And I think when you look at yourself honestly, you can look at other people's mistakes honestly. And as you learn to give yourself compassion and empathy and grace, you extend that to other people, because should some people find out some things about you that maybe the internet may never know, you'd want grace and compassion. And if you say you wouldn't want grace and compassion, that tells me your work around self-empathy is critical. The need for that is critical. The need for that is critical. It's why my products exist. I keep saying to you guys, if I could sell you makeup, if I could sell you jewelry, if I could sell you something to put on you, I'd be a millionaire. I'd be viral on this app. Oh my God, I love her earrings. Oh my God, I love her lipstick. What I'm selling you is something to put in you. Something to put in you. Something for you to reflect on you so that you go out into the world different. And I know it's not a sexy sell, but I promise you, it is the one product we need more now than ever. The product that tells us to look at ourselves and then look at ourselves and how we look at others. All the things exist. As I'm perched on the porch, from one struggler in the age of disclosure to another, the products exist. Buy them. Buy them.